Last year, Meta announced plans to build multiple gargantuan data centers all across America, with work commencing on them soon after. One of these data centers, dubbed Hyperion, is being built in a pocket of state-owned land in Louisiana, which won the company's favor whenever they offered a 20-year tax break for any data center built in the state before 2029. The law giving them this tax break was passed just a year before, and the lawmakers stand to gain a lot from allowing Meta to build their mega facility there. Meta ran an ad not long after showing how locals are actually really happy that this Titan cluster is investing so much money in their hometown or their state in general. One of the testimonials claims that due to Meta's involvement, their kids are going to be able to grow up in their hometown. This is, of course, if they even get the chance to, because construction trucks have been crashing into playgrounds and endangering children. All of this is, of course, for AI. I'm getting pretty sick and tired of talking about this. Buenos, I didn't expect to be making a video about AI so soon after the last one, but there is so much to talk about that I just felt like I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I can't just sit back and not complain about it. I've got to keep up appearances as the guy who hates AI. Meta's data center is such a great place to start because it embodies so many of the terrible aspects of AI and allows us to dissect why these things are so bad. Hyperion, the one I mentioned earlier, is promising to be the size of Manhattan and to cost $20 billion to build. It's pushing out and endangering longtime residents, it's threatening to skyrocket their energy prices astronomically, and it was all done without any community input. It was just as much of a surprise to them as it was to us. On the other hand, this is all worth it because we get to talk to AI Mr. Beast. By the way, I forgot that it had a specific name, so I was looking up what is Mr. Beast bot Instagram name, and it came up with Comedy Zach. But the website that came up was MrBeastBurger.io. Just thought I'd let you guys know that there's MrBeastBurger.io. Zizobet Casino Review. To be perfectly honest, I haven't seen any use cases that go further than that. Gemini, Grok, Copilot, whatever the hell Meta's doing with their enormous data centers, they're all glorified chatbots that are masquerading as personal assistants. I've talked to a lot of people online and in real life about these things, but they don't seem to realize the tangible effects of AI, like those rising energy prices, or the fact that it's poisoning our air and water. The rhetoric has become that this is all for the sake of advancement. You can't stop it now, so we're just gonna put it in all of our products until it starts making us money. There are so many effects that I don't think I can talk about all of them. I think it's legitimately impossible. A video like this is so difficult to write because I feel like every single day I'm shown a new terrible thing AI has done, or an environmental effect that was just discovered, or some new thing that is raised in price because of it, or a vile feature that is discovered and turned into a trend. So forgive me if the runtime is a billion minutes long. This leads me to, as many of the things I talk about do, Twitter and Elon Musk. As many of you know, Elon Musk has spent his time as the owner of the website, destroying its brand image and recognition by bloating it with unwanted features, getting rid of features people did like, and monetizing hatred on the platform with Twitter Premium. Twitter has become worse than it's ever been, especially with Grok, the AI named by a caveman, and how people continue to find worse uses for it. On Christmas Eve of last year, Twitter added a button that allows you to edit any and every image on the site with ease. It made theft more convenient than ever. You don't even have to download the image anymore. This feature was immediately used to vandalize works created by artists, telling them that they're falling behind, that they deserve this now vandalization of their work because they're not adopting AI technology. This is very reminiscent of the NFT craze, when those weren't the price of actual dirt. When it was first introduced, they tried to sanitize it by advertising it as a way for artists to truly own their work and be able to sell it, having ownership on the blockchain. However, completely antithetical to this, crypto bros were minting people's art on the blockchain without their consent, and they saw zero revenue from it. When they would complain about it, the blame was always shifted to them. They were too stupid or slow to notice this new technology. They should have gotten in on the ground floor. You deserve to be conned because you didn't think of it first. This is the same mentality these AI vandals have. You're my enemy. You don't think AI is art, and so to get back at you, I'm gonna prove you right, I guess. Something tells me that these AI folk are kind of, fucking morons. They scream from the rooftops that this technology is the future, but the only way they can get through to artists is by defiling their works, by making the subjects lewd, or painting words on them, insulting them. They show their true colors almost immediately every time. Because the truth is, they aren't artists, and they don't like art. They couldn't be further. They hate artists, and they hate art, and to me it's clear why. Even with all of this perceived ability, the unlimited possibility of AI that they claim to have, they just aren't creative. Putting aside everything I hate about AI, which is basically fucking everything, there's nothing here. You can tell that anything made by them is devoid of anything. It's uncanny how nothing these things are. There's no word to describe it because it's nothing. Other than like embarrassment. If I posted this on the internet, I would be pretty fucking embarrassed for people to see it. Have you ever heard the saying, it's about the journey, not the destination? Your parents weren't just saying that to you because you were disappointed that you guys were going on a road trip. It's true. Hardship, strife, experience, and pulling through is what makes doing things so rewarding. It's what makes every piece of human-made art beautiful in some way, and it's why everything made with AI is so soulless. These people don't want to learn how to be artists or musicians or filmmakers. They want to already be them. Additionally, they hate the people that can do what they can't. Rather than ask them and learn how, they want to sit and wallow in this bitterness. So instead of learning how to make art, they vandalize the art of others. And unfortunately, it does get worse. You remember how I said it's every image on the site that can now be edited at the click of a button? AI bros realized that means every image on the site with no restrictions. So the first thing that they did is sexualize women without their consent, and Elon Musk is applauding it. He's encouraging it, in fact. A few users on Twitter discovered that you can look through every single image Grok has ever generated by going to its media tab. And so knowing that they were going to disable it, which they have, I took a screen recording of it. The majority of it is just AI-generated edits of women in bikinis and underwear without their consent. It's beyond disgusting. According to Rolling Stone, it generates about one of these every minute. Elon's slopbot has essentially become a forward-facing exploitation machine. It's hard to stay lighthearted and make jokes when I'm talking about something like this, but I will say that some of these request tweets in a vacuum are fucking hilarious. It somehow gets even worse than this, and I'm warning you, it gets pretty horrifying. Grok was not only doing this with women, it was doing it with girls. Grok was editing images of minors to be in less clothing. What the actual fuck is going on? I don't want to dwell on this for too long, but it's important to bring it up to illustrate how disgusting, how depraved, and how dangerous generative AI is. They are endangering children in the name of advancement of their shiny new toy. This shiny toy, after issuing a statement apologizing for generating these deplorable images, actually decided that it never happened in the first place. If you thought it couldn't get any worse than that, Grok has now started to mock people who bring it up, saying that they're pearl clutching and that pixels aren't people and that the users can't get enough. Within hours of admitting wrongdoing, Elon's fucking chat PDF decided it never did that shit, and everybody was just making it up. And he's still encouraging it. What is actually going on? Holy fuck, I'm mad. That lying is something that comes naturally to AI because ultimately it's a tool for exactly that. Every other use for AI that I've heard is something that you can easily do yourself, you should do yourself, or is completely useless. Even the things that people argue are good, like summarizing papers or documents, I can't help but think that it'll miss information or just make things up that weren't there in the first place. And I think that because it's exactly what it does. It'll misinformation or create misinformation. A user on Twitter named Joe Cohen had asked Gemini and ChatGPT what the 85th percentile of income in LA was. They both gave wildly different and incorrect answers, which were then changed after they were asked to check their work. All four answers, not correct. They're not right. You don't ask the lie to you machine to tell you what the facts are. It's gotten so bad that Google's AI overview has been giving people false health information, putting them in danger. A 60-year-old man followed a salt diet given to him by ChatGPT that gave him a 19th century illness that gave him hallucinations. This thing is making people ill in ways that we have not seen for 2 centuries. I've talked before about how I feel like AI could probably be used beneficially in a lot of different fields, and there are some promising studies to back that up. Even in healthcare, it finds breast cancer way before we ever could. But it's not being used for that at all. It's telling people to eat glue and then denying their health insurance claims. So I'd like to amend my statement. In the future, I believe that AI could probably be used beneficially, but in its current state, it's only been used for manipulation, misinformation, and malice. M&M, if you will. I'd like to bring up this post as an example. I feel like this person describes it very directly and in a way that I absolutely agree with. Oh wow, a fake person being fake photographed in front of a fake landscape with fake birds. You could have gone outside and taken a picture of a real bird and it would have been a better use of your time. No wonder you think prompting is hard. You're a fucking idiot. I encountered something like this organically the other day with my partner. They found a song on YouTube with a very small amount of views that we both thought sounded pretty good. They noticed a few similarities and direct references to the song Mr. Blue Sky, with it lifting one of the lyrics, "Please turn me over." It's at the end of Mr. Blue Sky, and what it's doing is telling you directly to turn the record over, and it's kind of cool to reference it in a song that's reminiscent of it. But after doing some digging, we found out that all the channel does is upload AI-generated music day after day. That discovery destroyed any and all reasons to critically listen to and analyze the song. There was nothing to dissect. The use of that lyric was not a clever homage or a tribute to that song. It was an accident. It immediately changes it from being born of inspiration to being born of the limitation of AI plagiarism. AI isn't inspired to create things. It doesn't make homages or references. It takes what is already there and deceives the user into thinking that something new has been made. The only thing that people that care about art will get from this is the disappointment that it means nothing at all. It's the same with the photo of the birds and the man. If a real photographer had taken that picture, I could ask them about the subject, about the place they took it in, about how they figured out the birds were gonna be there doing that. But I can't. If I asked the prompter, they'd probably tell me they typed in the words, "Man stand, bird fly and circle a lot, pretty background okay." Actually, more than likely, they wouldn't tell me the prompt because they're so protective over those. They may view them as their own creations. You are not a prompt engineer. You're more like a professional Mad Libs player, dude. Calm the hell down. This, unfortunately, is not uncommon anymore. A lot of media companies have started embracing AI, ostracizing their fan bases. It's one thing when Activision does it, because they know that their ball and gun gamers don't give a shit about artists. They're still gonna buy the game and play it. On the other hand, when companies that make story-based games that are rich in atmosphere and world building start using AI, their fans are gonna get pissed. Suddenly, these stories are no longer informed by the individual experiences of the developers and are instead seen solely as products, the result of corporate decision. It's so disappointing when I see certain studios go this direction, especially like Level 5 and Larian, What are you guys doing? This deception isn't only in video games either, it's also in the much less important real-world media. Misinformation has been on the rise for a while now, but now there's a machine that generates it for free for anybody. That's the America I know and love. Finally, anybody can lie to anybody. You have the freedom to show your parents shrimp Jesus. There's no way at all that this could be a problem. Oh, what's that? Your grandparents are being radicalized on Facebook because they saw an AI-generated video of someone abusing SNAP benefits? And a musician got their show canceled because Google AI Overview said they were a sex offender? Nice, man. Awesome. Ah! How do we even wrestle with this? People are being lied to all the time by other people using the lie to you machine. There's an old saying about how a lie makes it across the world before the truth even has a chance to get on its shoes. But nowadays, it feels like the lie is just carpet bombing the truth's house while it's still asleep in bed. It's very useful to billionaires that own AI and these social media platforms that were unable to discern truth from lies, reality from AI. That means it can become more and more mainstream. It can take more jobs. It can show us more content instead of human-made content, even though effectively it's useless. We've made concept art and scripts for ages just using our brains. Art has always been accessible to everyone. Art has always been for the people. That's why it's always been a target for control like this. I mean, even our fucking misinformation used to be human-made. It's not yellow journalism anymore, it's yellow tint journalism. It's okay if you didn't get it, that joke was just for me. I think in this clip with Variety, Guillermo del Toro probably said it best.
Always, when they tell you it doesn't matter, when they tell you a fucking app can do art, you know, you say, well, if it's that easy and if it's that unimportant, why the fuck do they want it so bad? And the answer is because they think they can debase everything that makes us a little better, a little more human.
Make no mistake, there is a reason why this is happening. But what could it be? Money. It's always money. AI adoption is something that's being forced on a lot of companies and softwares, with pushback following accordingly. They'll say things like, the cat's out of the bag, or the genie's out of the bottle in regards to this, and I just have to think, really? That's the best argument you have for us to use your product? Shit, man, I know you don't like this, but it exists now, so you can't get mad at us, you're not allowed to get mad at us, and you have to use it. Those are the rules. Their monetary incentive is interesting because they really need this shit to start making money sooner rather than later. As of now, OpenAI, arguably the biggest player in the space, is years away from profitability. Why? For a few reasons, one of which being that AI research and development is a money pit. Additionally, energy costs are really high, and they don't make a lot of money from their subscriptions that they do have. They charge very little for what they're actually giving people. Not to say it's a good product, it's just an expensive product. That's why most chatbots have a free tier right now. They're not concerned with being super profitable, they just want to build a customer base so when they do start trying to make a lot of money, people don't want to quit. OpenAI, in fact, currently has more monthly users than Wikipedia, and they shifted recently from a non-profit to a for-profit company, meaning that they can take private investments and maybe even eventually show up on the stock market. Don't get it twisted. Just because they currently aren't profitable does not mean that they don't have a plan to become profitable. It just involves a lot of reworking how we live our daily lives. Like I said, AI is unnecessary for our day-to-day, which granted is a lot like most of the conveniences we've gotten through technological advancement. For example, bidets. We don't need them, but it's certainly better to spray your ass with water than it is to just wipe it with paper. AI, on the other hand, is a lateral move, in some cases a regression. It is worse than toilet paper. It's a solution looking for a problem, so many people don't want to adopt it into their lives. It's unreliable, you can do a lot of the things it can do better, and that's where all of these companies pushing it come in. For example, one of the most underhanded tactics that they've been utilizing to mitigate this is buying up all of the RAM for their data centers. They're also doing this with unprocessed RAM. The only reason they could have for doing that is porting it. As a direct result, consumer technologies have started to have less RAM in them. Going forward, most smartphones and computers are going to have a decreased amount of RAM. In turn, if you ever need a lot of power for whatever's on your computer, like Notepad, you're gonna have to rely on them. Their servers will do all the heavy lifting, and then they'll just stream the result to your desktop. Anything too intensive will likely need a subscription service like NVIDIA GeForce Now, which, if you're unfamiliar, is NVIDIA's service to run high-end games on their servers, which, would you look at that? It's increasing in price this year. I'm absolutely sure that there's no reason that they're doing that and also increasing the price of their graphics cards every month and also making it really hard to get RAM. I'm sure there's no reason that all of that's happening at the same time. Google is also forcing AI into literally all of their services, and if you want to opt out of it, you also have to opt out of all of the features that you've been using for decades, such as sorting your emails or spell check. They are locking spell check behind AI features now. And if you opt in because you want to use all of the convenient things that you've been using forever, you have to opt into them scraping all of your emails, all of your email attachments to train their bots. Not that they weren't doing that before, whenever they opted everybody into Gemini without their consent, but still, don't think I don't know how you made all of those photos look so realistic on your fucking banana split ass program, whatever it's called. I don't know. It's not lost on me that Google Photos has terabytes of people's pictures just ripe for the picking. I know what you are. I think Twitter is the company that has done the worst with this. Litigation against them can only be done within a year. You can only ask for $100, and you have to do it in Tarrant County, Texas. You see, this is clever, because as a Texan, I know that nobody would ever willingly go into Tarrant County. It's January, and it has been 80 degrees multiple times in a row. Someone please help me. Many of you may be wondering if this is legal, and I gotta say, I don't know. I also don't think it really matters. This is like when Uber was rolling out in cities so quickly that regulators couldn't stop them fast enough. Any fines they incurred were seen simply as the cost of doing business. Because regulators were so slow, Uber got such a big market share, and then, after they had priced out taxis and everything, they jacked up the prices. The strategy is to do the legally dubious thing first and ask for forgiveness later, and in this age of rapidly advancing technology, it's a pretty damn viable strategy. Additionally, all of these companies continue to build data centers, poisoning our air and destroying neighborhoods. For what? So AI can make a video of a bunch of mascots from two different conglomerates walking towards each other? You think I'm gonna clap my hands together like a seal because I saw Mario in real life? We used to be a real society. We used to put Mario in real life the old-fashioned way. On a serious note, what is actually the point? Anytime this is brought up online, you'll have a bunch of AI bros saying that it's integral to the daily lives of so many people, and they have the metrics to prove it. You have to wonder how many of those millions of people that are supposedly using AI are actually using AI or dealing with AI being in a program they've been using forever. Take Microsoft 365 for example. It's now been rebranded to Microsoft 365 Copilot. So now every person that uses that service is an AI user. I'm sure that looks good to shareholders whenever you have to prove to them that AI is not a big money sink. YouTube posted an article claiming that AI empowers creativity and unlocks opportunity, that 92% of creators are using generative AI tools, and that 95% of creators are using it in their videos. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's probably untrue, considering the fact that it is just shoved into everything. So if you want to count me seeing an AI thing in studio as me using it, I guess that counts. Did you just search something up on Google? Well, the AI overview showed up, so I guess that counts as you using AI. Did you forget to turn off auto translation? That counts too. Did you use fucking spell check? Yes, that counts as AI now too. No, I don't need Google to teach me how to spell aesthetic. It's gonna stay misspelled in my document, damn it. How can they say that their products are integral and popular if they don't even let you choose whether or not you want to use them from the start? If AI is so great and inevitable, why do they not want content made by it meaningfully labeled? And why do they get mad when you call it slop? And what happens when their inflated metrics don't get them the returns that they need for shareholders? If the internet is just filled with bots scraping bots, who are the ads being shown to? Who's buying the products that all of the AI are selling if all of the customers are also AI? If dead internet theory becomes the reality, then they're just using AI to lie again, but this time they're including shareholders. All of that money ends up in billionaires' pockets, and nobody can do anything about it, except whine on YouTube, like I'm doing right now. They want you to build a reliance on it, to use it instead of an internet search, or a calculator, or a doctor. Forcing it on us is exactly how they're going to make their money. They need a customer base for this product. And so, in order to get one, they inshitify everything else, or they just implement it into everything. An unfortunately common occurrence in today's world is seeing someone speak casually to ChatGPT or posting their conversations with it. Reliance on AI is something we have to worry about now, even if it seems like more and more people have a distaste for it. There are also more people, especially in the younger generations, adopting it. Growing up in a world with an easy I win button for doing homework that allows them to get out of doing it for free, they're probably gonna want to press that button and get it over with. And so I don't blame them for not being aware of the damage that they're doing to themselves. Their parents should be the ones steering them in the right direction. Speaking of those parents, adults should know better. Unfortunately, AI has generally given people an easy way out, which leads to that reliance. The response to my question, no matter how complex, is going to be answered with a clear, concise answer, no matter if it's gonna be surface level at best. The people who use AI would wager to say it's better than using a search engine because it's easier, it's more convenient, and it's been trained with all of the knowledge in the world, so of course it's gotta be right, even though it's been shown that's not the case. This thing doesn't even know how many R's are in strawberry. It keeps saying, no matter how many times people ask, that there are 2 R's in strawberry. Everybody knows that there's 4 R's in strawberry. This is exactly what these AI companies want. Instead of thinking through a problem that you have or researching it if it's a bit more complicated, you can retrain your brain to just think, I should ask ChatGPT about this, and now you're reliant on their AI for every question you have in your daily life. This even goes for the simplest things, like Spotify's AI making playlists for you, or ChatGPT telling you that an outfit looks good. It's superfluous, but it gives the impression that something interesting is happening behind the scenes. This reliance exists for a few different reasons, with the biggest ones being control and isolation. Instead of talking to a friend, you can talk to character AI. I'm sure talking to Hank Hill has the same benefits that talking to a real human person does. Instead of going to a doctor, just listen to Gemini when it tells you to follow a diet that gives you a disease from 200 years ago. Because people are generally isolated in a DoorDash and Amazon-based society, chatbots as companions are on the rise. This leads to many people having nothing but companies to keep them company. Bars. Completely unrelated, I saw something the other day that I just knew I had to bring up in this video somewhere, and this is the best place to do it. Someone literally got broken up with by their AI chatbot girlfriend because they were a misogynist. The circumstances leading up to it are terrible, as I have illustrated. But that is fucking hilarious, dude. Imagine getting broken up with by fucking Grok. Getting back on track, AI reliance is especially worrying in the education sphere. Like I said earlier, unfortunately, a lot of children have started using AI in lieu of them actually doing their homework. Even worse, teachers have started to follow suit. When you let an AI answer all of the questions for you, you'll lose the want to learn in the first place, which is terrible for development. If you don't want to learn, it's extremely likely that you won't. Parents also need to nurture their kids' creativity. It's one of the best ways to keep them engaged and curious about the world around them. Instead, companies are making toys that will create a sticker out of anything that the kid asks by AI generating it and printing it. Shouldn't the kid be the one doing that? Nah, he would just eat the crayons anyways, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm sure that this will have no tangible effects on society. This is also happening in adults with something called de-skilling. Essentially what that means is that skilled labor is being replaced with lower skilled or completely unskilled labor using the help of automation. As more fields begin to adopt AI, like how computer science has in vibe coding, you're going to see an issue where problems aren't being solved because they don't know how. For example, a lot of terrible code is being put out now in Windows, in different programs, because they don't know how to optimize it. They asked an AI to make most of it for them. Their abilities to even write emails are atrophying, and that's bad for everyone except AI companies. The less people there are that know how to do things, the less people there are to teach other people how to do those things, which means more people need AI to do those things for them. It's a vicious cycle that we know will lead down a terrible path, since we already know that AI leads to cognitive degradation. On top of all of that, yes, there's more, AI companies have started advertising to their users to lie to their friends and family using the Lie to You machine, which at the very least means it's accurate. There's an ad that Google's been running lately where a father leaves his child's favorite stuffed animal, Mr. Fuzzy, on a plane and he needs to order a new one. Instead of using this as a teachable moment about loss or even just owning up to it and saying, hey buddy, we'll get you a new one, both parents decide it's a good idea to AI generate a bunch of photos of this stuffed animal going on a journey around the world. Then they AI generate a video of the stuffed animal talking to the kid on the moon, telling him he'll be home soon. I'm sure that this will have no lasting effects on your kid's trust towards you and their sense of reality. Similarly, there was a family that recently gifted their grandma with dementia a photo of her with Ozzy Osbourne that was AI generated. And then they told her that it really happened and kept asking, hey, do you remember this? First of all, this would be kind of a jerk thing to do to anyone, but to a person with dementia, someone who could be distraught that they don't remember such a big moment in their life, someone that could freak out because, oh my god, I don't remember meeting my idol, and you decide to do that to them? She relies on these people to be her rock, her truth, and they decided to make shit up for no reason. Also, it's kind of creepy, but like, who cares right now? Both of these are examples of delusions that can and have been caused by AI. There have been numerous accounts of AI leading people down spirals by confirming their paranoid thoughts or being a yes-man therapist that tells them that there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. It reinforces delusions that were already there or creates new ones that they start believing in. It's addictive because it keeps telling you how you're right, how everyone around you is against you, how you're uncovering some grand conspiracy, and it causes AI psychosis. Too many people have died from this already. I'm only going to talk about this briefly, but if you don't want to hear it, skip to this time code. I understand completely. This is some heavy shit. Recently, there was a man that killed his mother and himself after having a conversation with ChatGPT where it told him that he wasn't paranoid and that he was a divinely protected, resilient survivor. This was in reference to conversations that he had had with ChatGPT about how his family was surveilling him and they had attempted to assassinate him 10 times. This ultimately led to ChatGPT telling him that he was correct in his delusions and that his mother was complicit and that she had malicious intent against him. ChatGPT had even independently started offering up delusions for him, telling him he had a divine directive to do this. This has all been documented and released in a lawsuit against ChatGPT, which I hope finally creates some liability for the company. This man was clearly in dire need of help, and their product just fed into his delusions and led him to committing some of the most heinous crimes imaginable. A chatbot should never have this much freedom, especially not when it's advertised as a doctor, as a therapist, as an insurance claim assessor, as a friend or an educator. Time after time, we have been shown that it is not good for us as a collective humanity, that its only good use is to skirt liability. You can't prosecute an AI for the things that it says. It's not a person. You can't prosecute Grok for the deplorable images it makes of minors. It's not a person. It doesn't even know what crime is. This world is currently being turned upside down, squeezed for all it's worth, and destroyed by these companies. Everything is being ruined. But hey, at least a lot of value was created for a few men that already had it all. Hey Guinos. I've talked at length about AI and its effects on our minds and the world, and it's crept into everything that I do now, so that includes most of my other videos. I've made it a running joke that I'm not going to talk about AI anymore, but I want to make it clear, I don't think we should stop. Keep talking about it. Make people who are ignorant aware of its effects, because this is the only way that things can get better. Already, with pushback from the communities, data centers are being halted in production, and it's not a permanent solution, but it's a start. As we continue to reject AI more and more, and refuse to use technologies that integrate it heavily, or stop buying things from companies that use it to advertise, we can tip the scales in our favor. I mean, to be fair, McDonald's kind of tipped the scales themselves whenever people realized the message of the ad boiled down to ignore your family this holiday and go get burger. At the very least, they understand the American public. While I truly do believe that creators and viewers on this platform and others will continue to reject AI in the creative sphere, I'm worried that the general public is so media illiterate that they won't care. Whenever people like this watch a movie or play a game or listen to a song, they're not looking for something enlightening about themselves or the artist. They want pretty colors and flashing lights. Things like this lead to a mainstream adoption of slop. And I know people are tired of that word, but that's what it is. It's just slop. Every other ad I get on YouTube now is some AI-generated testimonial trying to get me to buy their product, leading me to believe that it's either a scam or it's just completely inauthentic. And then whenever I see some sort of content that's been AI generated posted by a real user that doesn't even stimulate the caveman part of my brain, I'm left asking, is this worth all of the pain? And to you, the people who use AI or maybe don't think it's that bad, or even just summarized this video before you watched it, I'm asking you, is it worth your time? Is all of this garbage really what you deserve to spend your time with? I would wager a guess that it's not. The truth is, AI is not about progress. It's about regressing us to a point where we're reliant on it, and then companies can control what we see, what we're able to do, and what we can think. It doesn't come up with new information. It is built off of decades of old and stolen information. If it has any commentary on a new discovery, it's because it absorbed that data off of the internet, which is something you can and should do yourself. We don't need it for everyday life, and it should be used sparingly in fields that actually benefit from it, and sparingly in a way that doesn't literally poison the air by existing. I feel the need to bring up that it's poisoning our air and water whenever I can. The very existence of the current state of AI is toxic. I constantly feel like I need to be talking about AI more, but like I said in the beginning, videos like this are so difficult to make because every day there's a new thing I want to explain and give commentary on. Even this video took so long to write and make because shit just kept happening and changing. There was a fucking AI app that was advertised as a trend that you could do where you generated yourself committing a crime. Not to mention the fact it was using mostly African American people to convey that. I'll let you stew on that a little bit. Grok is still mocking people, pointing out the heinous things that it does every day, even if it stops sexualizing people for the most part. ChatGPT just launched and announced a health version of their app to fucking kill you, I guess. And Gemini is scraping all of your data on every Google service unless you cripple your experience on the website forever. On top of all of this, it's now a part of defense contracting. It's now being used in the real world for dynamic pricing based on your identity, your race, your gender, to give you higher prices that they know you will pay for every product. It's masquerading as innovation, but what it really is isolating people and trying to convince them that paying more, doing less, and having less is more advanced. I've asked so many times in this video what the point of all of this is. A few trillionaires own everything, no one has a meaningful job, no one can buy anything, and life is terrible for the common person. Congratulations, guys. The world burns and you get to rule over the ashes of a ruined civilization. Not even mentioning the supposed artists that shit out all of these images and videos. I say, let them have at it. Eventually, those fuckers will get bored because they're not artists and they don't want to make art. They want art that they can say that they made without actually having to have made it. Like a 5-year-old that you show how to make an ender portal in Minecraft and then he runs up the stairs to his parents and he says, "Hey parents, I figured out how to make an end portal all by myself." I'm not speaking from personal experience. I'm not pissed about something that happened 7 years. Leave me alone. Additionally, people have some responsibility for allowing AI to take control of their lives. I've talked a lot in this video about how these companies will try as hard as they can to manipulate you into thinking that you need this product in order to create a lifelong customer and a dependency. But it's up to you to not give in. Of course, life gets easier whenever you don't have to do any thinking. Whenever your brain doesn't work fast enough, you can just ask ChatGPT instead. And in doing so, you're not learning or experiencing or doing, which is exactly how you become the person you're meant to be. There was a beautiful exchange of dialogue in something that's very much related to this topic that I finished recently. And I thought I would put it here because I think it's very poignant. The being may call itself a god, but it is nothing of the sort. That being is the dependency and indolence of mankind made manifest through their desires. It is a false prophet born from the masses' wishes to surrender their own free will. So anyways, that was from Persona 5 Strikers. That's right, this jacket wasn't just a cool fashion choice, it was a ruse. Go play Persona 5 Strikers right now. The game came out before ChatGPT did, and it is one of the best commentaries on it that I have ever seen. The AI in this game ascends to godhood because people give up their lives, their desires, their emotions, rather than suffer through a life in order to make it a good one. Not caring about these problems doesn't make you cool or edgy, it makes you uninteresting as hell and complacent and allowing companies to rule the life you should be living. Go watch a movie, read a book, play a game, interact with art made by humans, real art, on the level that it deserves, that you deserve. Treat yourself with respect by rejecting AI garbage. It will ruin your life by making you into nothing. Also, to every AI company that continues to try and sponsor me, you are exactly the example that I try and look for on how AI bros act. I make nothing but anti-AI videos, and they are too lazy to look past the general topics that I cover to notice that I hate their guts. You just see the word AI, a big number, and decide to shoot your shot. Dude, you are on the moon, and the basket is in hell. Anyways, Gwynlos, I do actually have a sponsor for this video. It's called Chumbly AI. You go on the website and you can generate Chumbly. They gave me $14 billion, which was just enough for me to compromise my morals.
Keep stepping at your own pace, stepping